I watched a video this week of a man who is 40 years old. He sat there and told the whole world he wasted his life, said he has nothing, no house, no savings, no career. He talked about spending his 20s chasing women and going to concerts and trying to look cool on the internet. And he said, if you are young and watching this, you need to stop what you are doing right now and pay attention because you are running out of time. I am 74 years old. I did not waste my life the way he thinks he wasted his. I did everything right. And I need you to understand something that nobody is telling you, something that man does not know, something I wish someone had grabbed me by the shoulders and screamed into my face when I was 22 years old and still had time to change course. Doing everything right does not save you. Following the rules does not protect you. You can build exactly the life you were supposed to build. Check every single box, make everyone proud, and still end up sitting alone in a quiet house at 74, wondering if you ever actually lived at all. That is where I am. That is what I know, and you need to hear this now, not later. Not when you have already made the choices I made, but right now while you still have the chance to do something different. That man in the video, he is mourning wasted freedom. He had choices, and he made bad ones, and now he is living with the consequences. I am mourning freedom I never even tried to use. I had choices, too. More than my mother ever did. More than my grandmother could have dreamed of. I came of age in 1969. Women were fighting for things, demanding things. The world was cracking open, and there was space for girls like me to walk through the door and become something new. I stood at that door. I looked through it. I could see what was on the other side, and I turned around and walked back to safety. I have been paying for that decision for 52 years. Let me tell you about my life. Let me tell you what doing everything right actually looks like from the inside. I got married when I was 22. His name was Richard. He was handsome, charming, had a job waiting for him at his father's company. Everyone said I was lucky. My mother said I was lucky. My friends were jealous. I had landed a good one. That was the phrase people used back then. You landed a good one. Like men were fish and marriage was a competition. And whoever reeled in the biggest catch won. I did not ask myself if I loved him. I did not ask myself what I actually wanted. Those questions felt dangerous, selfish, impractical. I was 22 and everyone around me was getting married and buying houses and starting families, and I did not want to be left behind. I did not want to be the weird one, the difficult one, the one who wanted too much. So I said yes. I walked down the aisle in a dress that costs more than my father made in a month. I smiled at the camera. I threw the bouquet. I became Mrs. Richard Whitfield. And I disappeared. Not all at once. It happened slowly. So slowly I did not even notice it was happening. First it was the house. We bought a nice house in a nice neighborhood. And suddenly my whole life became about that house. Keeping it clean, keeping it decorated, keeping it worthy of the neighbors' approval. I spent hours, days, years of my life worrying about throw pillows and window treatments and whether the lawn looked as good as the Hendersons' lawn next door. Then it was the children, 3 of them, and I loved them. I need you to understand that I love my children more than I have ever loved anything. But raising them became everything. Every decision I made was about them. What was best for them, what they needed, what would make them happy, make them successful, make them better than me. I poured everything I had into those kids. Every drop of energy, every ounce of ambition, every dream I had ever had for myself, I transferred onto them. And then it was Richard supporting his career, hosting his dinners, laughing at his jokes, being the wife he needed me to be so he could become the man he wanted to become. I was the backstage crew for his life. I built the sets. I managed the props. I made sure everything ran smoothly so he could walk out under the lights and take the applause. 51 years. That is how long I did this. 51 years of being the house and the children and the wife. 51 years of putting everyone else's needs ahead of my own. Until I forgot I even had needs. Until wanting something for myself felt foreign, like a language I used to speak but had forgotten. Richard died 3 years ago. Heart attack. He was in the garage working on his car, and then he was gone. And when the grief faded, when the funeral was over, and the casseroles stopped coming, and the children went back to their lives, I was alone in that house for the first time in 51 years. And I did not know who I was. I am not exaggerating. I am not being dramatic. I looked in the mirror and I did not recognize the woman looking back. I had spent so long being Richard's wife and the children's mother and the neighborhood's model homemaker that I had no idea what I actually liked, what I actually wanted, what I actually believed. I had done everything right and I had nothing that was mine. That man in the video, the 40-year-old, he talks about wasting his 20s like it was a tragedy. And maybe it was. Maybe chasing women and playing drums and hanging out at coffee shops was a waste. Maybe he should have been building something instead. But at least he knows what he likes. At least he knows what makes him feel alive. At least he has memories of feeling something, even if it was stupid, even if it led nowhere. I do not have that. I have memories of doing laundry, memories of making dinner, memories of sitting in the bleachers at my son's baseball games and the audience at my daughter's piano recital, memories of being present for everyone else's life. While my own life happened somewhere off to the side where I could not see it, I never stayed up until 3 in the morning talking about nothing with someone I was crazy about. I never took a road trip with no destination. I never kissed someone I should not have kissed. I never made a choice that scared me just to see what would happen. I never burned. That man talks about burning like it was a mistake, like all that fire was wasted fuel. I never had any fire at all. I spent 74 years being safe and careful and good. And now I am sitting here wondering what warmth even feels like. Let me tell you what I see when I look at that man. I see someone who had freedom and did not know what to do with it. He is right about that. He wasted something valuable. He spent years chasing things that did not matter, and now he is paying the price. But I also see someone who lived, someone who made choices, even bad ones. Someone who has stories, even if they are painful. Someone who knows what it feels like to want something so badly, you throw yourself at it even when you know it is probably a mistake. I never threw myself at anything. I never wanted anything badly enough to risk looking foolish. I was so afraid of making the wrong choice that I never made any choice at all. I just did what I was supposed to do, what everyone expected, what seemed safe and reasonable and correct. And I told myself that was enough. I told myself that was the smart way to live. It was not smart. It was just scared. I want to talk to the women watching this, the young women especially. But this is for everyone. You are being told a lie right now. You are being told there is a right way to do this, a correct path, a formula you can follow that will lead to happiness and security and a good life. Get the degree. Get the job. Find the partner. Buy the house. Have the children. Build the retirement fund. Check the boxes. Follow the steps. Do everything right. And I am here to tell you that I followed every single step. I checked every single box. I did everything right for 51 years. And I still ended up lost because the path everyone tells you to follow is not your path. It is a path that other people built for their own reasons. Maybe it works for some of them. Maybe it leads somewhere good for certain people with certain needs and certain dreams. But it might not be your path. It might lead you somewhere you never wanted to go. And if you follow it without questioning it, if you walk down that road just because everyone else is walking down it, You might wake up at 74 years old and realize you have been living someone else's life the whole time. I had chances. That is the part that hurts the most. In 1973, the year I got married, there was a woman in my neighborhood who did not get married. Her name was Patricia. She went to law school instead. Everyone talked about her. Poor Patricia. Who does she think she is? She will regret it. She will end up alone. I ran into Patricia about 10 years ago. She was a judge. She had traveled to 37 countries. She had stories that made my jaw drop. She had lived a life that was hers. I do not know if Patricia was happy. I do not know if she had regrets. But I know that when she talked about her life, her eyes were alive. She had done things, chosen things, built something that belonged to her. When I talk about my life, I talk about Richard's promotions, the children's accomplishments, the house, and how much it is worth. Now, I talk about other people's lives because I do not have my own to talk about. I had the same chances Patricia had. I could have gone to law school. I could have done something. But I was too afraid, too worried about what people would think, too concerned with being good and normal and acceptable. I chose safety. I chose approval. I chose the path of least resistance. And the path of least resistance led me here to an empty house, to a quiet life, to 74 years of wondering what if. I am not saying you should be reckless. I am not saying you should throw away stability and responsibility and common sense. But I am saying you should question everything, every expectation, every assumption, every voice that tells you what you are supposed to do and who you are supposed to be. Ask yourself, is this what I actually want, or is this what I think I am supposed to want? Ask yourself, am I making this choice because it is right for me, or because I am afraid of what happens if I choose differently? Ask yourself, when I am 74 years old, sitting alone in a quiet house, will I be able to look back at this moment and know that I was brave? Because that is where you are going someday, faster than you think. You will be old. You will be looking back, and you will have to live with the choices you made. I made safe choices, careful choices, good choices, and I regret almost all of them. Not because they were wrong, but because they were not mine. They were choices that other people made for me before I was even born. Choices that were baked into the culture I grew up in, the family I came from, the world I was trying to navigate. I just went along with it. I never stopped to ask if there was another way. There was another way. There is always another way. That man in the video, he took another way. It did not work out for him either. He is 40 and miserable and full of regret. So maybe there is no path that leads to happiness. Maybe we are all just stumbling through the dark, making mistakes in different directions. But I would rather make my own mistakes than live someone else's correct answers. I would rather fail at something I chose than succeed at something I was handed. I would rather get to the end and know that I tried, that I wanted, that I burned, than get to the end the way I am getting there now, wondering, always wondering, what if I had been brave? You still have time. That is what I need you to hear. That man thinks 40 is the end. It is not. 40 is nothing. 40 is so young it makes me want to laugh and cry at the same time. You have decades left. Decades to build something. Decades to choose differently. Decades to become whoever you actually are instead of whoever you think you are supposed to be. Do not waste those decades the way I wasted mine. Do not follow rules that nobody asked you to follow. Do not build a life that looks perfect from the outside but feels empty from the inside. Do not get to 74 and realize you have been a stranger to yourself your whole life. I did everything right. And I am telling you from the other side of all those correct choices, from the quiet house where I sit alone with my regrets, I am telling you doing everything right is not enough. Being good is not enough. Being safe is not enough. You have to actually live. You have to want things that are yours. You have to make choices that scare you sometimes. You have to burn at least a little, or you will get to the end and realize you were never really warm. I cannot go back. My choices are made. My life is what it is. But you can still choose. Please, for the love of everything, choose something that is yours.